Om. 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 गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are in Vivek Chudamani. Today we will start with 517 or 518th verse. This towards the conclusion of the experience of reality topic of Vivek Chudamani. So last week we saw what was the verse? In the 516th verse we saw Nishkriyosmi avikarosmi nishkalosmi nirakrutihi निर्विकल्पोस्मि नित्योस्मि निरालंबोस्मि निर्द्वयः. Nishkriyosmi, I am without any activity. Avikarosmi, I am without any modification. Nishkalosmi, I am without any parts. Nirakrutihi, I am without any form. Nirvikalposmi, I am without any options or thoughts. Nityosmi, now the positive strain, I am eternal. Then Niralambosmi, I am without any support. Nirdvayaha, I am without duality. Only that which is one without a second principle, in which I can't say that in which there is no duality. It supports all duality, all multiplicity without itself going into any breakup. Just like water allows all the multiplicity of the waves to appear without itself breaking up into parts. If we can appreciate that example, similarly, the self, which is without any support on the itself is without any support, but it is the support of everything else. Understand, when these statements are being made, they are not being made to the self, they are being made to the individual, they are being made to the seeker, they are being made to the person who has not realized yet, who is body identified or he is contemplating, he is still in his mind. To him it is being told, so that he can change his disposition. Instead of thinking that I have to let go of this, let go of that, grow out of this, I have to detach from this, I have to get attached to the truth, nothing like that happens. You cannot attain truth by attachment, and you cannot attain truth by detachment. You have to go beyond attachment and detachment. Because you are always, you have never become absent. But where are we caught up? We are caught up in activity, we are caught up in modifications, childhood, teenage, middle age, old age. Body is modifying. Then Nishkalosmi, we are different parts, that my right hand is not my left hand, my head is not my foot, my eyes are not my ears. See? Different. I am without parts. I am one. So from water's point of view, there are no parts called waves. Everywhere it alone is. From space point of view, there is nothing called house space or room space or temple space or toilet space or Australia space and America space and continental space. Nothing like that. Earth space. It is one space. Who has imagined the parts in it? The individual has imagined parts in it. Space doesn't even have directions. Then who has imagined north, south, east, west, and the other four? Human beings have projected those directions for their convenience. Space doesn't have any directions. Similarly, nirvikalposmi, not only in the out, nirakritihi. And who am I? I am without any form. And again, it is being told to the seeker who is considering himself to be the form called the body, or who is considering himself to be the thinking person. Thoughts are also forms, they come and go. See, emotions are also forms. So I am without any form. Nirvikalposmi. Not only I am without any activity and modification and part and form, but I am nirvikalpa, I am without thoughts. So it will be like water saying, I am without waves. Then that is the truth from the water's point of view. Space says, I am without any, nothing exists in me, I alone am. From space point of view, that is true. Because from space point of view, the entire universe, the physical universe that is perceived by us, it's only a tiny dot. Minuscule, meaning insignificant. How significant is a cell for you in your body? Which every time you just rub your hands like this, I don't know how many dry cells must have fallen. Do you go collecting them? Hey, part of me is getting away from me. Let me collect it back. No. Space is infinite. And in that, the entire physical creation, cosmos that we see, that is a teeny, insignificant 0.00000000000000000000001%. And this is true even when you look at the wall. It is true when you look at this book. It is true when you look at this computer or phone. If you go to the atomic level, the mass in an atom is equal to how approximately infinite number of 0 plus 1. Rest is what? Rest is space, empty space. But our obsession on seeing the form. So, nirvikalposmi, I am without any thoughts. And therefore, because I am not all these things, I support all these things. I support activity. Without me, the activity cannot happen. Without me, the modification cannot happen. Without me, the parts cannot express, cannot be there. If there is no space, there is no north, south, east, west, and the other four directions. Nirakriti, without me, the form cannot be there. How can you have a form of nothing? Nirvikalposmi, without me, the thoughts cannot come and go. And who is me? Therefore, I am the eternal one who has never come and gone. When all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things are told, when they come and go, I do not come and go. And what is we stupid people, or we stupid seekers, even after so much satsang, we still think, I have to wake up in the morning, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to plan for future after corona, I have to open my business, I have to go to start working, I have to. We are all addicted to doing. And who are we really? And this habit of this obsession with doing, when we come to the seat of meditation, there also we want to do something. And we miss that opportune moment to be with ourselves, because we are still in our mind trying to withdraw from the outside and go into the inside. Arey Baba, let the mind do that. You are the one who is illuminating this journey of the mind from outside to inside. Don't get carried away by the mind. by identifying with the mind, by associating with the mind. And therefore, Nityosmi, I am the eternal one. Niralambosmi, I am the one without support. All these above, they need support. And what is the support that they need? They need the support of the eternal one. Just like every wave needs the support of water, everything in this physical creation needs the support of space. So also the what you call, the secondary self, the primary self, the father, brother, mother, just like the father, brother, sister, they all need the body, the person. Similarly, this, what is this person? Is gross body, vital air body, mental body, intellectual body, and the bliss body. So these five, they need a support. They cannot exist without it. If that support is taken out, this equipment made up of these five sheaths very quickly disintegrates back into its elements. So what is that which was keeping these five elements together? That one I am. And that one I am not. For that, right now, I am that. Come to this conclusion without a thought. Niralambosmi, I am not the I don't need any support, but in turn I am the support. In fact, he can't even say that I am the support of others, because from that eternal one's point of view, it alone is everywhere. So what will it support? There is no otherness for him, for the supreme principle, the infinite principle. If water says I support all the waves, it's telling lies, because wave is already water. So how can it support the waves? Exactly the same way, the eternal truth that I am, it is supportless. And if before I made the statement that it supports everything else, it is from our experience that variety is there. So we say that it supports every variety of those five which were given. And nirdvayaha, without duality, there can be no traces of duality in this infinite principle. Therefore, did you learn the verse? Therefore, sarvatmakoham sarvoham sarvatitoham advayah kevala khandabodhoham anandoham nirantaraha. Now, on a positive note, in the previous verse there was only one Nityosmi, which was positive one. Everything was from the point of negation. And now in the 517th verse, everything is positive. Positive affirmation. And what is that? Sarvatmakoham. Sarvatmakoham, I am the self of all. In the inert creation, I am the self of every inert object, thing in this creation, because everything, for it to be a thing, it must exist. So Sarvatmakoham, I am the existence in every inert object. Why inert? Every object. I am the existence. Among the living creatures and the beings, I am the existence as well as the consciousness. And among the human beings, I am the existence, consciousness as well as the ananda, the bliss. Sarvatmakoham. So I am the self of all, the sentient and the insentient, the inert and the living. Therefore, Sarvoham. Sarvoham, I alone am. There is nothing else other than me. Therefore, I am all in all. I am all in all. There is nothing outside of me. I am all inclusive, if that is the word to be said, because he's telling it. When the mind comes into play, you see the world. So all is included in me, nothing is outside of me. Sarvoham, Sarva Aham. Sarvatitoham. And even though I am the self of all and I am all, still Sarvatitoham, yet I am beyond all. I think last week I read the verse 5 and 6 from the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita for you, which expresses the same thought. So here also, same, we will not go again into it. So Sarvatitoham, I am transcendental to both, to the individual as well as the total. Sarvatmakoham at the individual level, that I am the self of all in everything and being. And Sarvoham, I am all that there is at the totality level. And yet, even though I am expressing at the individual, through every individual and at the total level, yet I am transcendental, Sarvatitoham. So we can say, the water says that I am the Atma, I am the self of every wave. I am the self of every ocean. Ocean, God. Wave, individual. I am the self of every ocean and every wave. Every individual and every God. Then the Sarvatmakoham. Sarvoham, I am all that there is. So from the water says, I am all that there is. I am expressing through everyone, if you want to use those names, but I am all that there is. Why? The attention is going on the totality. And immediately, he goes even beyond the totality. He says, Sarvatitoham. But when it says I am transcendental to both, individual and total, micro and macro, it means that whether they are there or not there, I am unaffected. That is what is called transcendence. So, who am I? I am the one who is Sarvatmakoham. I am the one who is expressing as the self of all. I am all, and yet I am independent. I am not dependent on the individual or the total for my expression. I am transcendental. This the seeker has come to realize, and this is our true nature. So in this direction, our contemplation must go. Sarvatitoham. And the consequence of being transcendental is that the appearance or disappearance of individual or total does not affect the underlying principle. Therefore, aham advayaha. So, I am non-dual, supporting all duality, supporting all multiplicity, but transcendental to it. I am unaffected by all that I am supporting. Kevala akhanda bodhoham. Kevala, I am all that there is, I alone am. Akhanda, unbroken, continuous. Bodha, knowledge, I am the continuous. I am one alone, the continuous knowledge. Aham anandoham. and of the nature of bliss. And this is not when I go to meditation, then I have the experience that I am the one without a second of blissful nature, and this I consciously know. No. Nirantaraha. Without a break, I am aware of this, aware of my nature, without a thought. If it is with a thought, thought will come and go, then it will become intermittent, then there will be parts, then it will not be akhanda, it will not be continuous. Just like when I say, when in your life, sometimes you are a husband, sometimes you are a brother, sometimes you are a son, sometimes you are an employer, sometimes you are an employee, sometimes you are a friend. So all of them. But what is the continuous one behind all those roles that you are playing? The man. The man is the continuous one. Without this man, this individual, these roles cannot play. They cannot come about. Who are miserable? The roles are miserable. Man is not miserable. Exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. Even though the self that I am is supporting everything, it is supporting the body, breath, mind, intellect, it is supporting all the roles, it is supporting the whole creation, as if all this is as if, but it itself is unaffected by anything, and therefore it is akhanda. There are no parts in it, and therefore this experience of keval akhanda bodhoham anandoham, it is not with a thought, it is a thought free awareness of your own being, and therefore it is akhanda, therefore it is continuous, because there is no medium, there is no support by which it is making itself known to itself. We need something to know ourselves. We go to a mirror. If the mirror is not there, do you still know yourself? Yeah, I know, but I can't see my face. I know myself, but I can't see my face. Then you go to water. There also some reflection is there, because you have to make your dadi, your beard, or you have to trim your beard. Some people have done it now because restrictions loosened, so beard gone. One person I went day before yesterday, he first cut his beard, and then he wanted to make a mushroom cut for his head, and he was trying to do it himself, and eventually he ended up with no hair on his head. He kept trimming. So you can have a hairstyle when you have hair. But if there is no hair, then what hairstyle will you have? So you can communicate if you have a thought. If there is no thought, then how will you communicate? Does that mean you have become absent? Does that mean that you are not there? See, akhand parts is, as I explained here, just one example I took, father, son, and husband. But the man is the common denominator. Man doesn't become three, but he supports the three. But he is transcendental to the three. So play your roles, but be the man, then you will not be disturbed by any role. But we take the role too seriously. Exactly the same way. Now take the other three: waker, dreamer, sleeper. Every day these three are coming and going. Waker is not the dreamer, dreamer is not the sleeper. If one person doesn't come, you are disturbed. But what is the denominator? What is the common denominator without which these three cannot come? These three are coming and going, so they cannot be the common denominator. Waker can be the common denominator of all the roles that you are playing in the waking plane. Dreamer can be the common denominator, like the man, for all that is happening in the dream. But who will be the common denominator for the waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper with their respective worlds? See? Because waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper are also coming and going, so they are intermittent. They only appear for few hours and then they go away. Each one. But isn't it our experience that we don't feel? We know that these three came and went. So we are not the one. We are the one who has never come and gone. But we live in a default mode, thinking of ourselves only as the waker. If you live as a waker, then you will also go out of the waking plane of consciousness. So we can do our sadhana, contemplation, only in the waking. But here the right interaction with ourselves has to happen. That is why we come to satsangs. And what is the right type of interaction? That I am the one who has never come and gone. Not with any role, not with any thought, not with any age. I am the common denominator. I am the unchanging self. Why am I thinking about I am the unchanging self? Why am I thinking I am the eternal self? I am. Full stop. Even this thought that I am the eternal self is being illumined, is being supported by me. Without me, that thought cannot come in the mind. Think. So, akhanda is continuous. Nirantar means continuously, without a break. And breaks only happen when you experience something as a thought, as an idea, as a concept, as an imagination, as past or as future. Anything by way of thought will be discontinuous. See, in Panchadashi we talked about, Amrit Anubhav. Last week we talked about the space, the outside space, the mental space, and the conscious space. Does it mean there are three spaces? But for an individual, the outside space and the mental space is, he can cognize that. But then is the outside space in the waking, is it different to the space in the dream? See. So there it was told the gross space is included in the mental space, and the foundation of the mental space is the conscious space. So this way, whatever text we are taking, there also it's the experience of the Jnaneshwar Maharaj. Here it is the experience of realization of this student after listening to Adi Shankaracharya ji. Similar thought, but from that what are we learning? Are we learning to remain intoxicated by a weekly dose of beautiful poetry, which is nothing but words? Or are we intoxicated by the self that we are in spite of the words? See, that will make all the difference even while listening. So now, after saying Sarvatmakoham Sarvoham Sarvatitoham Advayah Kevalakkhanda Bodhoham Anandoham Nirantaraha. Now in the 518th verse, Swarajya Samrajya Vibhutiresha Swarajya Samrajya Vibhutiresha Bhavat Krupa Shri Mahima Prasadat Bhavat Krupa Shri Mahima Prasadat Prapta Maya Shri Gurave Mahatmane Prapta Maya Shri Gurave Mahatmane Namo Namaste Stu Punar Namostu Namo Namaste Stu Punar Namostu Swarajya Samrajya Vibhutiresha Bhavat Krupa Shri Mahima Prasadat Prapta Maya Shri Gurave Mahatmane Namo Namaste Stu Punar Namostu Namo Namaste Stu Punar Namostu. O Guru, by your glory and the grace, I am blessed with this kingdom of self-realization. My salutations to thee again and again. Swarajya and Samrajya, two words are given. Swarajya word includes the word Swa. Swa means the self. Swarajya means mastery over the self. Samrajya means this mastery over the glory, over the kingdom. And what is the kingdom? The external. So, Swarajya Samrajya Vibhuti Resha. Vibhuti hi Esha. Bhavat Krupa Shri Mahima Prasadat. By your prasad. What is prasad? What is prasad? Prasad is blessings. When we go to temple, when we take communion, when we go to temples and get prasad. Do we complain there? That what you are given, it has got no taste. How can you give this tasteless thing to God? It has got too much chili. Or why didn't you make some sweet? Why did you make something spicy? No. Whatever the priest gives you as prasad, even if it is just one drop of water, you close your eyes and you gulp it down. And the feeling is that of being blessed, isn't it? This is called prasada buddhi. Prasada buddhi means where we have no complaints as to what is coming to us. There is no complaint about anything in this world. Just like when we go to the temple, we get the prasad and we have got no commentary about it. We don't compare it with previous day. We don't give comments as to its taste or as to its quantity or as to its quality, or why you gave more to that child and why so less to me. There is no comparison. Without any questions, without any commentary in your mind. Look at yourself when you go to the temple next time. Your mind is empty at that time. For that few seconds when you get the prasad, your full availability to the prasad is there. You are humbled, you are bent, hands forward. With great reverence and faith, you accept whatever is poured into your palm. If we can cultivate that type of attitude in and through our daily life, then you don't have to realize you are already there. With every person that we meet, every event that comes in our life, every contact, every disease, every misfortune, every fortune, Take it as prasad. One man's business was burning. All his life's work was being burnt away by this huge conflagration of fire. The what do you call, the fire engines, the police, the whole crowd had come. And his son was saying, "Dad, look at it, what is happening?" He said, "Go quick, run, bring your mom. She will never see this vision and such a fantastic fire again ever in her life." Positive approach. Only when everything is burnt away, then the son asked, "How can you say that?" He says, "Yes, now everything is finished and all the mistakes are burnt, all the wrong things that, the wrong conclusions that I came to are burnt away. Now I can start afresh without the load of the past." That's what burning does. But here we are, every day, pulling yesterday into today and ready to pull today into tomorrow. Never ready to meet every day afresh without any load of the past. No, we have to have the load of the past because we have become habituated. So, Swarajya, by the prasad of Bhavat Kripashi, by your blessedness, Kripashrim, Shri Mahima Prasadat, by your great, what do you call, prasad is the grace, and Mahima is this experience. O great teacher, by your compassion, by your grace, by your glory, I have been able to gain mastery over the self and have been able to gain mastery, have become the master of the world. We don't have to become the master of the world there. The master of the world means becoming master of the mind. What is the difference between Ishvara and Jiva? Individual and in total? Ishvara is the master of Prakriti. He is the master of Maya. Individual is enslaved by Maya or Prakriti. That's the only difference. And this shift can happen right now, but only by grace. Not grace from outside somewhere. Grace from that one infinite principle. And for that grace to flow, our attention must be on it. And not, our attention must not be on it as someone separate, as something separate. Our attention must be on it as the essence of ourselves. Swarajya Samrajya Vibhuti Resha. Vibhuti is the glory. Vibhuti Yoga we saw in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Vibhuti is the glory. So Samrajya is mastery over the glory, over the all that is expressing, over all the names and forms. And you have this experience. You have a complete dream world. When you go to dream, you are going through whatever experiences you are going through, but the moment you wake up, you stop being a slave to the dream experience and you delete it in toto. Next day you do not go back to the same dream. So there, with regards to dream, it's not wrong to say that Samrajya Vibhuti Resha, that you are the master. Why? Even though it was involuntary, but you do not choose to go back to the same dream. Some foolish fellows are there who want to go back. Who are those? We are those fellows, because waking is also a dream, and every day we want to wake up into the same dream. See? Same wife, same children, same house, same problems, same opportunities, same coronavirus, same time. It's a disservice we are doing to ourselves. Then, Prapta Maya Shri Gurave Mahatmane, by that I have gained this prasad by the grace of your self, by my Guru's grace. See? Nothing comes without Guru's grace. Remember this in life. Everything is a grace. Don't worry too much about realization. Yes, our thought must be there on the realization. Initial stages, work on purifying the mind. As much as you are interested in listening to the satsang, listen, no problems. It is good, we must listen to the satsang. But it must be coupled with some daily practice of controlling the mind or purifying the mind. And that is not just for half an hour or 15 minutes. So 15 minutes, half an hour, you do japa with feeling, with bhav. And rest of the day when you are working out there, work as an offering to the divine without expecting anything in return. See how quickly the purification will happen. But our pursuits out there in the outside world are only with ego, only to get something, only with likes and dislikes, only reaffirming our relationships, demands, only reliving our memories of the past, because now holiday, sit at home and take out all the videos from the past and keep watching. Take out the photographs and ruminate over वो भी क्या दिन थे. No, stop all that. The more you think of the past, the more you will succumb to it. So to get out of this gravity of the past and the gravity of the future, gravity of feeling that every day is the same day which I left yesterday, that is the same body, is the same wife, is the same person, is the same me. Yes, it's the same me, no doubt, but not as an individual. Individual has changed, because individual means he who is attached to the body. Body has changed, so individual cannot be the same. Data has changed. So to get out of this gravity, someone who is beyond this gravity, beyond this downward pull, that its grace is required. So our attention must go to that transcendental principle. And what is that principle? That principle is not other than us. It's not other than the self. It is not other than the Ishvara. It's not other than the Guru. Think of the Guru Maharaj. Whether it is the teacher, whether it is the Lord, or whether it is the self. The self, the Atma, the Ishvara, and the Guru, they are one and the same. There is no qualitatively they are the same. Question is, where is your attention? If your attention is on the body, then you will seek a guru with a body. If your attention is on the mind, then you will seek the Lord as the guru. If our attention is on the self, then we will understand that the Guru principle has always been pervading us. We are surrounded by the Guru principle. There has never been a moment that Guru has ever left us. And only by coming to the self will we realize that this Guru alone is expressing as the self. This Guru alone is expressing as the Ishvara. This Guru alone is this Guru principle is alone expressing as the Maharaj, the teacher outside. In fact, when it says teacher, teacher means everything in this creation, because if we are open, we will learn something from everything. Every moment we can learn something from someone or some experience or some contact or some event. Like our Dattatreya Maharaj. Only when we are full of ourselves, that I am someone, then the learning stops. But if we are open, learning is always. Swarajya Samrajya Vibhutiresha Bhavat Shri Mahima Prasadat Prapta Maya Shri Gurave Mahatmane Namo Namastestu Punar Namostu. My salutations to thee again and again and again and again. Prapta Maya Shri Gurave Mahatmane Namaste. So Namaste, Namo Namastestu Punar Namostute. Salutations, salutations and again salutations to Sri Gurave Mahatmane, to that great Guru who has helped me to come to realize this and gain mastery over myself, the individual self. We are not talking mastery over, cannot be mastery over the infinite self. It will be mastery over the individual self. And mastery for this individual self, there is a total world. And where is that total world? In the mind. So mastery over the world, over the glory, over the manifestation. And in this way, towards the concluding these last 3 verses, he is bringing, till now he was going on about rambling about his experience, what he is not and what he is. And now he says, it is all because of my Guru Maharaj. Here Guru Maharaj is Shankaracharya himself. Continuing, Mahaswapne Maya, Mahaswapne Maya, Krita Jara Mrityu Gahane, Krita Jara Mrityu Gahane, Brahmantam Klishyantam, Brahmantam Klishyantam, Bahulatarata Pairunudinam, Bahulatarata Pairanudinam. Mahaswapne Maya Kruta Jara Mrityu Gahane Brahmantam Klishyantam Bahulatarata Pairanudinam. He says, I was lost in the illusion of birth, death, old age, in the terrible great dream, and thus tormented day by day, in and through. O Guru, you have awakened me and freed me from the fear of tiger of egoism, and thus you have protected me indeed. Isn't it true that we are all more than us accepting we are the self? We have accepted this journey, that I was born, that I'm growing, that I was a teenage, that I'm a youth, now a middle age, that everything in this creation that is born goes through that there is birth, death, old age, disease, decay and death. Our attention goes there straight away. Yesterday I went to someone's house for bhiksha, and they are great devotees of God, of the Lord Krishna. And she said, Swamiji, I just went to Rajasthan, Gujarat and Rajasthan. We went to our, Nathdwarji, and she was going on about what they are doing, reading Bhagavatam and all that. And she said, whenever I see God, or every morning when I light the lamp, I ask the Lord, not that please give me a life please make my next life as good as this one or even better. I don't mind the same husband, the same children. Please make me born in a family which is following the Pushti Marg, and please keep the love for you intact in my next life. And every morning and every evening when I light the lamp, I'd make this prayer to the Lord. And even when I go to temples, I do the same. I said, very good. But I said, Amma, think about it. When you are thinking of the Lord and you are asking the Lord for next life, are you living this life then? Your attention is, because you are reached 50, 60 years old now, you are already thinking about next life. And your God himself says, realization is here and now. So why you are thinking about next life? Nahi, if I collect enough merits in this life, then I know if I don't realize in this life, at least next life I will have a good life. See the thinking. I said, with the commitment with which you are asking for your next life, if you had asked the Lord to reveal himself to you in this life, he will do it. You still have enough time to live. See? As long as I am living a life of papa and punya, merit and demerits, then till then I am living a life of ego. I am living a life of doership. And who is Lord? Lord is beyond merit and demerit. He is grace incarnate. And grace doesn't flow because you have done merits. And it is also untrue that if you have collected demerit points, you will not get grace. Because grace is always, everywhere, all the time. Just like the sun illuminates the murderer also and the healer also. Grace also is surrounding you and functioning inside you also. We have to become available. But we are not becoming available to it, and we are postponing it for next life. And suddenly in this conversation, suddenly it clicked to her. Oh, Swamiji, I was making mistake then. I said, are you really understanding, or you're just making me believe that you have understood? No, that's true. Now it's clicked. And because it clicked, she made me eat one more chapati. Dekho. So yeah, and then the topic came that today so much in the news, if you hear that in the next one year, 2 years, more suicides, more discontentment, more depression. Why is all this there? Why suicide should be there? Because mind is not prepared. Our education system, yesterday this topic came, that our education system is teaching you how to become a good employee, is teaching you how to become a good professional, but it is not teaching you how to have a peace of mind. That should be the first lesson, or it should be the continuing lesson throughout life, that we must maintain a peaceful demeanor. Our mind must be at peace in and through all the circumstances of life. See? If I'm going to, no, this, ye life to bahut ho gayi, next life we'll do it. Are? So just like yesterday, half an hour, 1 hour, I was there for 2 hours. In 2 hours, food, dinner also happened, satsang also happened, clicks also happened. See, for how long she was harboring that type of thought that I must do good deeds, at least for the next life I will be in a good family, she would have continued. I have met her many times, but she never brought that point out. But yesterday she did. Similarly, how many such thoughts we are carrying with us, wrong notions, which are detrimental for the grace to shower its blessings right at this moment. See? So this plucking out of our this blessing can happen only by the Guru's grace. It doesn't happen by the ego. It doesn't happen by the mind. It keeps us in the same cyclical life. Waking, dream, deep sleep. Waking, dream, deep sleep. Waking, dream, deep sleep. Wake, deep sleep. In the waking, same wife, same children, same house, same business, same. And we think we are doing very well because everything is going good at the moment. But what will happen tomorrow? Inshallah. What will happen tomorrow? Earthquake comes, tsunami comes, sinkhole happens right under your house gone. Then what will you do? Oh, then I should, why all this? We think for us, see, in school nobody taught us. They taught us to study. Then the society told us get married. Then when we get married, we have children. Then we have to find work in order to subsist our family. Then children, we wish, every day we wish that the children should come out to be gems. And we compare them and this and that. But they are products of their own destiny. Some of them turn out to be fine, some of them turn out to be totally the opposite. And whole life you are worrying about them. And just when the moment you are supporting them all your life, then you build the business, you build your portfolios. Why? I want to leave it for my children. As if they are beggars. Can't they work hard? Did someone ask you have to provide for your children? But you feel it is your responsibility because you produced the children. See? And then we are carrying this entire burden of responsibility, of the duty, of the world, of the children, of the relationships, of the possessions. And every day we begin like that. And every night we are tired of carrying the load of responsibility and we want to go to sleep. We want to take that load, Like the ladies carry the purse, the first thing that they do is first put the purse down from the shoulder. Why? It's an unnatural load. So this load which we are carrying of responsibilities, we want to dump it and become free of this load so that we can fall into the lap of ignorance, into the sleep. Because if it was natural, just like the head is natural, it's heavier than our handbag. But we never say, let me take out my head and then go to sleep. We don't feel the weight of our head. But we feel the weight of the responsibilities. And whole day we have been tossing and toiling and working hard to maintain this status quo. That I am someone, I have done everything correct, I have done my duties, I have carried out my responsibilities. But this was if you look back with a cool mind, cool head, It was an entire ego trip. It was an entire ego trip. That I have done my responsibility. I have done my duties. I have not done any wrong with anyone. I am a righteous person. I am a devotee. I am sattvic. I have helped people. It's a big ego trip. And only by grace. This student was also in that trip. We are also on that trip. And when we study, just like this student, when he says that you have awakened me and freed me from the fear of tiger of egoism, this fear of losing everything that I worked hard for, all the relationships, contacts, goodwill that I have created by my individual hard work over the continents throughout my life. All this will be washed away. The fear of losing all that is what is. That fear is itself keeping the ego alive. We have to surrender it. We have to surrender it to the divine. We have to surrender it to the self. We have to surrender it to the grace. And accept whatever comes as prasad. And you have protected me. So it is in Ramana Maharishi's words, when we inquire into the nature of the I, we come to the real self. Same thing here. When we to get what is ego? Ego is I identified with everything else. Why you feel the bliss in sleep? Because this I has disassociated with everything that it was associated with. And because this I doesn't recognize its true nature, so it falls into the lap of sleep. See? So how do we, just when the everything that this I was attached to maintain its status, when everything is being pulled away, taken away, how it does not go into depression, it does not go into nothingness, it does not go into sleep. It happens by grace. It doesn't happen by your efforts. Efforts we must put, but when that click happens, it happens by the grace, by the blessings. That click is the prasad. So in this way, we read only half of it. Sorry. Ahankara vyaghra vyathitam. Mahaswapne maya krita jani jara mrityu gahane brahmantam klishyantam bahulatarata pairanudinam ahankara vyaghra व्यथितमिममत्यन्त कृपया प्रबोध्य प्रस्वापात् परमवितवान् मामसि गुरो. So, O Lord, prabodhya, you have awakened me from the tiger of egoism, and you have protected me throughout this journey of dropping the ego, dropping the attachment, dropping the illusion. See? Awakening is never from outside. Remember this. Awakening is never from outside. Awakening is always from within. You have awakened me and freed me from the fear of tiger of egoism, and thus you have protected me indeed. And what is this protection? That now that you have awakened me to my own essential nature, now there is no fear of falling back into the same rut of life, into the same rut of egoism. Does that mean that I do not continue to be with the family, continue to do the work, continue to do the business? No, everything goes on. Janak Maharaj was the king of Mithila, but a realized master. Yet he was performing all the duties of the king, but always self-aware. It is possible. Very few and rare people are like that, but it is possible. When I say few and rare, compared to the total population, if they can only realize and recognize that they have always been like that only. You are always self-aware, imagining that you are not at this moment. Namastasmai sadekasmai kasmai chinmahase namaha. Namastasmai sadekasmai kasmai chinmahase namaha. Yadetad vishwarupena rajate guru rajate. Yadetad vishwarupena rajate guru rajate. O the great Guru Maharaj, salutations to thy supreme effulgence, which is pure existence and one only, and yet appearing as the multiplicity of this world. Namastasmai sad ekasmai. Namastasmai, my salutations to whom? Sat ekasmai, to that truth, one without a second. Kasmai chinmahase namaha, to that conscious effulgence, salutations to it. Yadetad vishwarupena. And what is this Vishwarup? Who is Vishwa? Virat, remember Vishwa and Virat? Virat is the total world, and total waking world is called Virat, and total individual waking world, not total, individual waking world is called Vishwa. So Vishwarup Darshan, there we saw Vishwarup Darshan, isn't it? So what was the Vishwarup Darshan? That the Lord, what was the world for Arjuna? The past, the future, the present world, the whole cosmos, the whole universe, everyone's mind, birth, death, etc., etc. At every moment all this is going on. It is not a linear one. Everything is happening simultaneously. And he saw that the infinite Lord himself was expressing in and through the entire creation. See? When we come to the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where it is told that in action the yogi sees inaction, and in inaction he sees action going on simultaneously. So what is it? It was always going on. He becomes available to it. activity within activity in no activity, and no activity in inactivity. See? So, yada Vishwarupena Rajate Guru Rajate. So, this Guru Maharaj, who is nothing but supreme effulgence and pure existence, Sat, one without a second, and at the same time appearing as the entire multiplicity. So he is not saying now that I have come to realize I am that, which is no, it is the Guru Maharaj who is appearing as the self. It is the Guru who is one without a second, and that one without a second alone is expressing as the infinite one, as the infinite multiplicity. Because if we bring I in there, then again attachment will begin. And that is why when a Mahatma lives his life, he sees the whole world, he hears the whole world, and so on through his 5-6 senses. But he doesn't become the seer, he doesn't become the hearer, he doesn't become the thinker, knower, experiencer. This role he gives up. Because instead of being the role player, owner of the experience, instead of becoming the experiencer, he has recognized that he is the substratum, that he is the unchanging principle, he is the eternal presence. He is the eternal self, which is ever existing. Experiencer comes and goes, seer comes and goes, hearer comes and goes. But who am I? I have never come and gone. Now I am the speaker. After the class, I will not be the speaker. Or even while speaking, between every few words, between every word, I am not the speaker. It's intermittent. But because my speech is intermittent, is my experience of myself broken? Am I intermittent? No, I am the continuous one behind the speech. See? So, Namastasmai Sadekasmai Kasmai Chinmahase Namaha Yadetad Vishwarupena Rajate Guru Rajate. Salutations. Yadetad Vishwarupe, no, कहाँ गए? सदे कस्मै चिन्महसे नमः. Eka. So, salutations to that supreme conscious effulgence, pure existence, Sat Ekah, Ekasmai, one without a second, one alone, who is at the same time, it is one, but at the same time it is appearing as the multiplicity. Water is one, but appearing as many oceans and many waves. Gold is one, but appearing as many ornaments. Mud is one, but appearing as many pots. Man is one, but appearing as father, brother, husband, etc. Similarly, this unchanging principle that I am, O Guru Maharaj, thank you for making me come to that. It has happened only by your grace. I have come to realize this essence of mine is you alone. You alone are expressing as the self through me. When the student is using these words, it does not mean that he is seeing the Guru as separate to him. He has realized the self of the Guru and the self in him are one and the same. He has come to realize that what Guru was experiencing, now he is established in it. On whose account he has come to be established in it? When he was established in it, that time the mind was not there. Now the mind has clicked back into the phenomena has started again. And out of this joy, out of this bliss, the mind is rambling on, and it's come to realize that it's not other than the Guru. That the Guru, and to express that, it says, "O Guru, by your grace I have come to realize that you alone are expressing in and through me." Yeah, how beautiful it is. So, with this, so we started with a doubt. Vivek, Vairagya, Shatka Sampatti, and Mumukshutvam. The qualities of the seeker were given. What type of a seeker can come to know this? Artha, Jigyasu, etc. Then slowly the topic was developed, and the crescendo was getting higher and higher and higher. And eventually the student, last quite a few verses. From where did we start? From 472nd verse. No, from 480th verse. 480th verse, the student was rambling on and on and on out of the bliss of his experience. He wanted to share it. He couldn't sit quiet. He couldn't sit quiet. That is why probably we also keep talking and you also keep listening. Out of that bliss of experience. Let it not be intermittent. Let it be continuous. And now, next week, we'll begin the last set of some verses, 60 verses. Upadesha Upasamhar, the conclusion, meaning the essence of all the teachings probably will be taken up. So, as a recap of the total instructions, salient points. If you don't want to read the whole thing, you can just read this part and orient your mind straight away to the subject matter. We'll look at it in our next class. There is still time, so let's conclude and then sit for a few minutes in silence. And next class will be tomorrow evening, 7:30, on Bhagavad Gita, Jnaneshwari. Oh, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.